Japanese people like to bathe together. It may sound strange to those who are not familiar with it. But if you know the story behind it, you will find it as reasonable and interesting as eating sushi with wasabi. Let's bathe in this culture with a little storytelling and easy to understand comparisons. History of bathing together, from ancient times to modern times. Imagine you are living in Japan hundreds of years ago, when a private bathhouse was still a luxury. In the Fuji mountain area, natural hot springs onsen boil like an attractive hot pot. Not only because of the temperature, but also because of the rich minerals that help relax tired muscles after a day of working in the fields. So the locals, regardless of rich or poor, gather together to soak in the onsen. This is not only a way to be clean, but also an opportunity to socialize, discuss crops, neighbors, or even court affairs. Japan is located right on the Pacific Ring of Fire, one of the most volcanically active regions in the world. The Ring of Fire is home to many active and dormant volcanoes. And Japan is located right at the intersection of four major tectonic plates: the Pacific Plate, the Eurasian Plate, the Philippine Plate, and the North American Plate. These tectonic plates are constantly moving, colliding, and sinking underground, creating intense volcanic and seismic activity. When the tectonic plates collide, the rock beneath them melts and produces magma. This magma moves closer to the surface and creates many geothermal phenomena, including hot springs. That's why Japan has so many hot springs. Not just because of its lucky geography, but because of this bustling and dynamic geological process. Japan currently has about 110 active volcanoes, accounting for about 10% of the world's total. And did you know? These volcanoes are the boilers that provide heat for hot springs. As magma heats up underground, it raises the temperature of underground water, creating hot springs rich in minerals. These hot springs then flow to the surface through cracks in the rocks, forming onsens that people flock to for relaxation. Over time, onsens are no longer just a product of nature. The Japanese have built public bathhouses called sento, where people can comfortably soak in hot water. Even during the Edo period, 1603 to 1868, sento in Tokyo were always crowded like a market. People not only bathed but also discussed business, negotiated, and of course, gossiped for fun. Community culture. Bathing is not just for cleanliness. To make it easier to visualize, imagine a family or a group of friends going to an onsen on the weekend. Just like Vietnamese people go to karaoke together, bathing together in Japan is not a strange act but a common school experience that anyone can participate in. Here, everyone is in uniform, that is, not wearing anything, creating a comfortable and equal space. Whether you are a CEO or a lowly employee, going to the onsen is the same. There is an interesting story about a successful businessman. Every time he went to the onsen with his employees, he became the most common person. One time, while sitting in the bath, a young employee asked him directly, "Boss, how can I make as much money as you?" The boss could not refuse. So he shared his secret to getting rich like a mini seminar. After that bath, the young employee was quickly promoted. See? Bathing in onsen is also an opportunity for networking, not just relaxing in hot water. Imagine, in the 18th century, when a samurai entered an onsen, he could sit next to a farmer, a fishmonger, or even a merchant. But there, everyone was equal. No one carried status or power on their shoulders. In other words, bathing together helped to remove social barriers. This is not only a matter of personal hygiene, but also a matter of spirit and community. Respect and cleanliness are top priorities. If you think bathing together is dirty, Think again. The Japanese take cleanliness extremely seriously. So before entering the communal bath, they always have to wash themselves. In each onsen and sento, there is always a separate area for guests to scrub themselves before entering the communal bath. This is like wiping hands before eating in Japanese culture, to maintain general hygiene and show respect for others. This is not only a habit, but also a beautiful feature in Japanese behavioral culture. Once I went to Tokyo, and met an old man in his 80s. He still went to sento every day. When asked why, he smiled and said, "Bathing together makes me feel young again. Here, I meet old friends and sometimes I feel like I'm back in my youth." When everything was simple. Yes. For the Japanese, bathing is not only to clean but also to heal the soul. Onsen, natural therapy from hot water. In addition to cultural reasons, bathing in onsen also has a very practical reason: health. Japan, thanks to its volcanic terrain, has many natural hot springs filled with minerals that are beneficial to health. Onsen are no different from magic pots of water that help relieve joint pain, mental stress and even help rejuvenate the skin. Did you know that Japanese soccer stars, after each intense match, often visit onsen to restore their bodies? A famous story is that Keisuke Honda once shared that soaking in hot springs helped him overcome serious injuries in his career. He even called onsen the secret to Japanese longevity. So is bathing together an embarrassing thing? Embarrassing? Not at all. Once you step into an onsen or sento, all feelings of embarrassment will disappear like the steam rising from the bathtub. For Japanese people, the human body is normal. There is nothing to be ashamed of. Just like Westerners entering a sauna without wearing clothes, Japanese people consider bathing together as an opportunity to remove all social barriers and relax in the most natural way. In Japan, the human body is considered natural and there is nothing to be ashamed of. The philosophy of wabi-sabi in Japanese culture teaches that imperfection is beautiful. The same goes for the human body. It is not always perfect, but it is a natural part of life. The Japanese are used to seeing bathing together as a natural act that helps clean the body and relax the mind. Not something to worry about, while in other cultures, bathing together can be considered an overly intimate act, even something inappropriate. In Japan, it is completely normal. The Japanese do not consider bathing together to be an act with sensitive or sexual elements. On the contrary, it is like having dinner together, everyone can participate, and no one feels embarrassed. This is illustrated by a humorous story from a Western tourist who went to an onsen in Japan for the first time. He was surprised to see everyone in the onsen naturally naked, and was worried that it might make someone feel uncomfortable. On the contrary, he discovered that the Japanese people sitting with him in the bath were completely relaxed, not caring at all about who was sitting next to them. When this story was told, everyone laughed and understood that the Japanese do not care whether you are wearing anything or not, but whether you are relaxed. What are the rules about men and women? In most onsen and sento, the bathing areas are always separated for men and women. This means that men bathe in one area, and women bathe in another. Each area is clearly marked, usually blue for men and red for women, to avoid confusion. Although most onsen and sento have separate areas for men and women, there are still some traditional onsen that allow mixed bathing, called konnyoku. Konnyoku is a special type of hot spring where both men and women can bathe together without any clear gender distinction. However, konnyoku is becoming increasingly rare and not as popular as before. Many places have gradually switched to separate bathing to suit the tastes of modern people and foreign tourists. In places that still allow konnyoku bathing, there are often regulations requiring women to wear bathing suits to feel more comfortable, while men often wear nothing. Bathing culture. Japanese identity. Bathing in Japan is not just a habit but also an art of living. It is closely linked to the culture of community, to the way people treat each other and nature. A little history, a little health, and a lot of relaxation. That is why Japanese people love bathing together. They bathe not only to clean themselves, but also to heal their souls, connect with others and return to nature. If you have the chance, try stepping into an onsen or sento. Soak in the hot water and feel the bathing culture. You will see why Japanese people consider it an indispensable part of their lives.